Hey, it's Mikey Arugula. I have a special show tonight. I am so freaking excited. Okay, I have somebody here, Seth Swirsky. Now, if you don't know that name, I just want to let you know something. You know this guy. You just didn't realize you know him. He has been in your life for a long time. So, Seth Swirsky has done some incredible things. Seth, tell him who you are, man.
Well, I'm originally a songwriter. Actually, I started with jingles. I wrote the Thomas's Toaster Cakes English Muffins jingle when I was in college. And then I went on to become a songwriter and wrote for many artists, Air Supply, Celine Dion, a whole bunch of them. My most well-known song is Tell It to My Heart by Taylor Dayne. And it just for many 50, 100, 150 different artists over the years. And then I started writing letters to baseball players. All of them wrote back, guys that were 100 years old, and Ted Williams and Cal Ripken and everybody. It became my first book, Baseball Letters. And I had a bestseller. And I was doing tours around the country and the Today shows. And it was crazy, crazy life. That went on to be three books of baseball letters. And then I started a band called the Red Button, and I was putting out my own solo records, plus the Red Button, and we won many of the that month's, coolest song of the month thing with, Stevie Van Zandt and on the underground radio station. So getting a lot of airplay going there, and then I got my master's degree. Well, I graduated from Dartmouth College back in the 80s, but I got my master's in clinical psychology in my 50s. And I have a few patients here and there, but I do it for fun. It's like a giving back type feeling.
All right,
And
so Seth, let me interrupt you for 1 second
sure.
because they're gonna say right now, like, so why is Mikey interviewing this guy? So let me
Oh,
just explain to you. So,
I
so
didn't think
first,
about Beatles.
first of all, Seth and I both come from Long Island.
Okay.
Okay, I'm the South Shore guy. Okay, he's the North Shore guy. Okay,
Exactly.
you came from Great Neck, right?
Yes.
But we both fell in love with the Beatles when we were little kids.
That's
And
right.
how I found out about Seth, and you can go onto YouTube and you can watch a movie, which is a real movie. It's not a Mikey Ruler episode. It's a real produced movie called Beatles Stories. Now, I'm just going to tell you some of the names of the people that this man interviewed. Now, by the way, when did you start that movie? When did that movie come out?
It came out in 2012, but I started
Okay.
in about 2004 when I was invited to the Cavern Club to play. And then I had my handheld camera, and I thought, you know what? Why not interview people that have a story? I thought I knew every story. In
Yeah.
America, you
Okay.
only
All
get
right.
what
So
they
now I'm
tell
going to
you.
interrupt them again.
Yeah.
Mikey interrupts the
Yeah.
guests all the time. Here are the people he interviewed in this movie, which you got to watch. By the way, it costs you nothing to watch it, I think, on YouTube. Okay. I don't know how this guy makes any money on it anymore. It's the greatest movie. It blows away half the things that have been out lately on the Beatles. Norman Smith, Ken Scott, Smokey Robinson, Claus Vorman, Graham Nash, George Martin, Davy Jones, Ben Kingsley, Bob Eubanks. Hey, Mikey just did the video with the Jim Irsay collection. I never got to meet Jim Irsay. Okay? I went down, as you know, to Christie's for the auction. took me down by limo. Okay? But this guy sat with Jim Irsay. Okay? And had an interview with him. Frank Gifford, Chris Carter from the Beatles channel. You guys know him. Jack Douglas just died. This man interviewed him. Denny Lane, he died a year ago. Okay, Art Garfunkel, Brian Wilson, another guy that's like unbelievable, no longer with us. This man Seth interviewed these people, and what was he interviewing about? Their love for the Beatles and how their love influenced their life and impacted them. Correct? So Seth doesn't need to be modest with us. This guy has been unbelievable. And now here's what he told me. He's working on Beatles stories too, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Thank
yeah.
you.
So
Very nice of you.
that's why I asked him to do this interview. He has incredible opportunity to tell us maybe some behind the scene things that you think was so cool to learn about that you never expected to hear. Why don't you share some things with us that you'd like to tell us?
Well, first of all, I loved going around. I visited so many different places around the country, around England, just to find these stories. And people, like as you mentioned, some of the people that were in my first movie, they couldn't wait to tell the story. They said, "I'm so glad somebody asked me. I haven't even." Norman Smith picked me up at the train station. Picked me up at the train station, and I couldn't help it. My camera was on, thank God.
Seth,
And
by the way, I thought it was funny that George Martin thought he was dead.
oh, hilarious! Can you
Yeah,
believe it? So I thought I got to stitch those together. I got to put that. That's just such
right.
a moment, you know. But to be in the home of Norman Smith, I mean, just think about that. Like he went home every day from recording.
By the way, Seth, do me a favor. Remember, there are people here that we're educating about the Beatles. Tell them who Norman Smith is.
Norman Smith was the Beatles. First of all, he was there when they auditioned, their famous audition in 1962, when George Martin left the room, and it was really he asked Norman should he sign them, and he was there for every single Beatles song up until Rubber Soul, but including Rubber Soul. So he was there through various changes through everything. He was the main recording engineer. He was the number one guy. And he's the one, and his interview with me bears this out. He was the one that really did get the sound of the Beatles. They set up their instruments in a way where they just didn't come across. And as Norman tells me in that interview for Beatles Stories 1, um, he said, I just wanted to set up live mics around the room. I wanted them to feel as if they were playing at a club and it was live. And then we got the sound. And think about how that sound and that moment captured by this engineer changed the world. That's what changed
Yes.
the world. The Beatles changed the world, their songs changed the world, their looks, all of it. But if he didn't get that sound right, no, it would have just been a cool band for a minute.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Great interview, man. Great
Thank
interview,
you.
and I enjoyed that.
Thank you so much. Thank you. It was thrilling.
By
Yeah.
the way, were you doing the camera work at the same time, or you had a helper?
Camera work. Oh, let's put that in quotes, right? This was my camera. This was my second cameraman, right? It was me in front of Henry Winkler at his house trying to hold the camera straight. And there was
Right,
another camera that I propped up against one of his books right on the side, just in case I needed a B-roll if he coughed or something. You know what I mean?
right.
No, there were very few times I got a cameraman to help, but it was usually I just set up it was really just kind of a road movie of but if you were the greatest Beatle fan ever, you know what I'm
But
saying?
but Seth, here's the thing. Mikey would love to do something like that, and you've already done it. But so and I can't do it. But you said to yourself you're going to do this. You came from Great Neck. You already had connections in California. You were living in California.
Yes, yes.
I mean, I can't just call up someone and say, listen, I'd like to interview you.
Yes.
Do you have an agent? How did you make these arrangements to meet all these people?
Well, that's a big misnomer about this movie that I was a writer with a number of hit songs and stuff. It must have been easy for me to call up a guy, "Hey, do you know this one or that one? Let me go over there." But I didn't know anybody in the movie, and I had no connection to the Beatles, believe it or not. Absolutely none. But so the question is, why did Ben Kingsley come
Yes.
down and take a limo down to the original theater that if the for his first ever performance, and it was as a guitar player for one of Brian Epstein's, you know, one of his plays. I mean, the craziest thing. Why did they do it? They did it because when I reached out to them, either by email or somebody knew somebody who knew somebody, something, they got the passion. They got the passion. I wanted to do this. I needed to do this.
Yes. Right.
And it was an original idea, too. They had never been asked a simple question. And what I said in every email, I always said to them, this is a 10-minute thing. It's no makeup and five cameramen in your house and all this stuff. It's me. I come in, it's 10 minutes. I knew it was going to be more than 10 minutes because they'd
Right.
enjoy it. So it was
Yeah.
always an hour. I'm filming everything, and then I got to cut it down to the stuff we haven't heard before.
Right. By the way, do you have outtakes and other things that you can make another third movie out of?
Oh, I don't think that. I mean, but I'll tell you, I got as much as I possibly could. It took me 6 years to start again, to do it again, you know?
Right, right. Well, like I said, it's a very enjoyable movie.
Thank you.
Uh, and for some of those interviews, those they're priceless, man. So tell me some other ones that really like blew you away. Some other interviews you did.
Oh my God, it's not only that, it's the stories that go around them. When I interviewed, I didn't know anybody that knew Art Garfunkel, right? So I looked up a name of a guitar player that played on some album and
Right,
also produced a record that he played on so I could write him. And if it came from him to Art, that's a lot easier than an agent who's gonna contracts and all of it. Anyway, out of the clear blue, I got a phone call from Art Garfunkel on my voice message machine. Voice messages back in the 2000s, right?
right.
And he says, "Hey, it sounds like a great idea. Whenever you're in town next time, give me a call and we'll see if we can figure it out. But when you're making a documentary and it's about the Beatles, you better get right on it." So I called. He picks up the phone. I said, "Art, thank you so much. I'm not in town Wednesday, but I'll be in town Thursday. Can we do it then?" Like, I'm already basically like, "Oh, I'm going to be in town in a second. You won't have time to say no to it."
Right.
He
Yeah, yeah.
invites me to the penthouse. We're hanging out, and then we finish the thing, and he goes, "Don't leave so fast. What did you think of Simon and Garfunkel? Do you think that I was like like a kind of equal to Paul and stuff like? What were your feelings about that?" And here we're
Right.
having a glass of wine, so I'm getting a little tipsy.
What'd you tell him, by the
I
way?
said, "This is exactly what I tell him because I couldn't make it up. Don't forget, I'm drinking a little bit, so was he. I said, Art, you've got the Monet of voices.
Yes.
He
Yeah.
goes,
Yeah. Yeah.
The Monet of voices. It was such a moment.
Good answer. Good
And you
answer.
gotta
Because
understand, you
the
gotta understand.
songwriting, oh,
Yeah,
you made me think of something before I forget about your songwriting.
yeah,
When it says you're the songwriter, are you
yeah.
writing the music or the words or both?
I grew up with Paul McCartney, John Lennon, Paul Simon, George Harrison. They all wrote music and lyrics
Yeah.
themselves. So
Because
that's
I
how.
noticed that you collaborate.
Oh,
Okay.
I do. I have. Let me
Yeah.
put it that way. But
Yeah.
I much prefer writing 100% of the song.
Okay.
I wrote a song for Olivia Newton-John's greatest records, Tina Turner, Al Green. They were all self-written.
Right. Right. Now,
Yeah.
once again, let's get away from the Beatles for 1 second because you're talking about your songwriting. All right. How'd you get to Olivia Newton-John? Like, how do you get to these people that they even listen to your music?
Yeah. Well, I was signed out of college to be a staff songwriter with Chapel Music, which became
Oh,
Warner Chapel. So I
okay.
became a staff songwriter at a music publisher. Music publishers' jobs are they have a stable of songwriters,
Hmm.
and they say, "Hey, guess who's looking? Olivia Newton-John's looking for one song for her greatest hits record."
Right. Right.
And everybody tries to write that song, but they're trying to write that song all over the world with all the publishers and people that don't even have a deal. So you're up against 9 gazillion people. I think that as time goes on, people hear your style, you get a couple of hits under your belt,
Right.
certain things happen,
Well,
and then
once
they
you have those hits, yeah. Now, uh, also, when you give them the song,
yes.
are you giving them a demo, or they're just reading it, like, and someone's playing it?
No, no. Back in the 60s when there was the Brill building, those guys just went in, they made a they did a piano thing and they wrote it up. They could write it all out like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
And they'd get it to Dion and the Belmonts, so they'd get it
Right.
to whoever it was. It'd be recorded and on the radio in a month, less than a
Yeah.
month. But when
Right.
it got to my time in the 80s and 90s, there were more drum machines, there were more things like that. You were expected to make a demo that blew away what they were going to make.
Right.
Right,
Yeah.
my demo for my Air Supply song was better than their version, but I'm thrilled they did it. It was my first gold record, all of it.
That's
Tell it to my
crazy.
heart, the demo was pretty good. She just put it into another zone. So it's rare when your actual vision is made less. It's a bummer. But when it's made more, it's like, oh my God, it's fantastic. It's rare though.
Right. Right.
Rare.
That's that's fantastic, man. So you had major success from the beginning, really. You weren't really struggling. You got lucky, a little lucky, right?
I I worked hard, to be honest.
Right.
I think luck comes to when you have more of a chance of it.
Right, but you have the right personality. And you believed in yourself. You had to believe in
Oh
yourself.
yeah. Look, at 7 years old, I wanted to be a Beatle. My parents never looked at a report card. They didn't care if I went to college or not. They
Right.
said, whatever, we know you're doing, we know you're going where you
What
want.
did your dad do? What did he do?
My dad was in plumbing and heating supplies. He owned a company called Groundwater Industries or water lines, I should say. And Yeah, he was the rock solid dude in my life. I actually had to watch the Knicks talking to my dad because we would have been watching that game together like we did in the 70s.
All right, did you watch the games this past week?
And I watched the games. I was in front of that TV 5 hours beforehand.
Okay, so you didn't go to the games though, right?
No, what's an extra 100 grand?
Yeah, yeah. Well, I figured you might be able to go. You know all the right people. All those people were there, man.
I know it would have been really great. If I was in New York, I would try and find a way, but
Right. Yeah.
it'd be crazy.
Yeah. Yeah. So
Yeah.
right behind you, I see a lot of things on the wall, right?
Yes.
Is
A
there
lot.
anything quickly you could just point out and tell us what it's all about?
This is my gold single from Tell It to My Heart. It's very rare.
Right.
Gold
That's
single.
Taylor Dayne?
Yes.
Right.
And this is my ASCAP Pop Music Award. This is me when Smokey Robinson recorded one of my songs and hanging with Ringo. And
Yeah, now, so tell us about Ringo. How did you meet Ringo and what took place?
well, it was at a party that was being thrown for Klaus Voormann, and he was going to come in from Berlin, and he called like 10 minutes before the thing, and he said he couldn't make it. It was the anniversary of Revolver.
Okay.
Of course he drew the cover and all that.
Sure.
And so Ringo said, "Oh, I'll go in your place," because they didn't want to disappoint the people. There was a very small party. There must have been 20 people there. So I'm just hanging, and Ringo was right there. I mean, it wasn't even like get online or I can't do that or anything like that. And it was just very, very chill. We had a little conversation, and it was just kind of amazing. I've met
Was
Paul.
this was this before or after you did the movie?
This was after.
Did
Yes.
now I would have said to him, "Did you
Yeah.
see my movie?"
Yeah.
Did you say anything like that to him?
I think people say that to those guys every second. If I just send you them, I'll send you a link.
Right.
You gotta just
Yeah.
hear that song.
Yeah.
It was inspired by Eleanor Rigby. I'm sure they've gotten that
No,
look.
because I think they would get a kick out of your movie. Your movie is first of all, it's a lot of the people are their buddies.
I know, and they tell story. It's interesting because you said that a lot of people in my movie talk about their love of the Beatles and how they inspired them. But actually, I'll tell you, that's not the first line that I went for. When I interviewed people, I really went for a story I hadn't heard.
Yes.
Okay, so like when the guy who used to be president of Apple Records had to wake up Paul McCartney and said, "We heard rumors that you were dead. Are you dead?" Talking to the guy, and he goes, "I'm
Right.
not dead. What are you talking? How did it actually happen? We all heard
Sure.
about it. We all looked for clues in the late '60s. We did the same thing everybody else did. But I like finding out these little human stories.
Yeah. Yeah.
How that guy who had his birthday, Ringo Starr, invites him to have dinner at his house, and they're watching a movie in the '60s. It was his birthday. He had
Yeah.
no idea when he woke up that morning that he would be having dinner with Ringo Starr, who was on top of the world.
That is crazy.
I just
Crazy.
love those. I love the human element to the stories. That was the key for me.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's why you're going to love Beatles stories too, because I went a little bit different. They're longer stories.
Okay.
They're a little bit more fleshed out, and it's just different. I wanted to make something different. I've got to please myself as I go. I don't want to just copy something I just did.
And how are you planning on, or you won't be able to tell us how you're distributing it? Is it going to be something available online or on a distribution network?
It will absolutely be on some way be with one of the platforms and be online on some level. Even if I
Yeah.
just stick it on YouTube, I don't care. I want
Right.
people to see it and enjoy it. That's the key for me.
Yeah.
But yeah, once these clearances are done, we're kind of coming to the final stuff on that.
Right.
Um,
So you have to get a clearance on everybody that is in your movie,
every
essentially.
photograph, every song, every this, every that. But I had to listen, let me just say this. I know a lot about the Beatles. I'm not telling you I know more than blah, blah, blah. I don't care
Yeah.
about that.
Yeah.
But I know what their hair looked like in October of '66 and how it changed in February of '67 and how it did this and how it did that. So when I'm telling a story, I want to make each little story, whether it's 2 minutes long or 5 minutes long, I want it to be like a time machine where I take you back, whether you know every song they ever did or you don't know that much. I want you to feel as if I'm putting you right in that moment. So I choose photographs that are true to the moment. So that
Yes.
people like you and Chris Carter and people that know everything, you can you don't have to think, oh, that's not a picture from them. That would throw you off. So
Yeah.
like I really try and make each room very specific.
Hmm. Very nice, man. I'm looking forward to, keeping my eye out for this thing.
Oh, thank
I think there's a lot of uh, material and films coming out over the next couple of years,
you.
and some of them I'm not really excited about. But I'd be more excited about what your project is or my own project because I feel it's down to earth
Mm.
and people can relate to it. The Beatles, seeing them in certain movies or seeing a biopic, to me,
Uh,
doesn't thrill me as much.
no, because the whole point is that they had a magic chemistry and it happened to be between the four.
Yeah,
That was perfect.
right.
It
You
wouldn't have
can't
been,
fake that. You
you
can't fake that.
cannot
It just
fake it. It's the
happened.
worst thing to try and make a film about it. It's ridiculous.
Right, right, right. So now here's another thing about this guy, everybody. He happened to collect uh sports memorabilia. Now, specifically, I'm a New Yorker. So when I see that this man had the Bill Buckner ball, okay? Now, first of all, did you follow the 86 Mets?
Absolutely. Down the line.
Did you watch the game?
Of course I watched the game.
Where were you watching that game?
I was watching that game at my girlfriend's house. She became my wife a few years later. But I was
Right.
watching at my girlfriend's house and I remember it was like when you look back on it, or actually at that moment, it's like everything stopped in New York City. Everything just stopped. You knew it was like, I hate to compare it to this, but it was like you always know where you were when that
Yeah,
happened. You
yeah,
knew where you were when JFK was assassinated, not us
right.
at that age, but you know what I'm saying,
Yes, yeah.
generally speaking. So it's like one of those kind of American moments
Yeah.
of,
So everybody, 1986 was the year that the Mets, the New York team, National League, won the World Series. But they came from behind and at the beginning of the season, they were terrible. And they just went on a streak, kind of like the Knicks that just went on. They were behind in every game, the Knicks, right? And they ended up winning. Okay. Here you had the Mets. They were down to like the last swing. All right. And the first baseman, this guy, Bill Buckner, he should have caught the ball. And God somehow intervened, and the ball goes literally through his mitt. Okay? And what was it, Carter? Who came home?
Mookie Wilson.
Mookie Wilson. Okay. Just crazy, crazy situation. And this man, Seth, has the ball. You don't have it anymore, right?
I sold it to the
You,
guy who now owns the Mets.
yeah, Steve Cohen, right?
We grew up in Great Neck. He went to North and I went to South.
Did you know him personally before he?
No.
Okay.
And I will tell you, when he announced that he was the one that bought the ball at auction, he said it was owned by Charlie Sheen and then someone and then me. Like he skipped over.
He skipped over you.
And I owned it for 12 years. Like I had it the longest of anybody, right? So it's
Yeah.
like
So
whatever.
Charlie Sheen bought it first.
Yes, Charlie Sheen bought it, and it was a $5,000. They thought it was going to go for 5,000. I think it was Christie's, but he won it for 93,000 when you add on, all the stuff with auction.
Yeah. Yeah.
So 93,000. His underbidder was Keith Olbermann.
Right.
Then there was there was a robbery at the All-Star Cafe where Charlie had a bunch of his stuff, and he just thought, the hell with it. I'm going to sell it all. This is in April of 2000, so he owned it for 10 years. I bought it for a
Right.
third of the price.
Right.
Okay.
Really
Because they were all
nice.
in
Nice
that
deal,
auction,
man.
they were looking at the Wilt Chamberlain supposed 100 basketball, the 100 points basketball. Everybody was looking left. And I'm thinking, wow, this is a real piece of history. The Red Sox haven't won it. This is the curse ball. It's more than just a ball that went through his legs. This is
All
an
right.
Americana. Anyway, so that's how it got
So
it.
you made a nice little deal on that because I think it's public knowledge what it went for, right?
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
pretty crazy.
Yeah. Yeah. So anyway, he made a lot of money. I'm not going to say on the
Oh,
show, but you can look it up probably online. So he sold the ball, but you also had a ball signed by all four Beatles from the Shea 65 concert.
Yes, and I think that was bought by the guy for that Getty Lee because he
Who's
was
that?
the guy from Rush.
Oh, really?
Yeah, the band, and I think he just sold it. But
What'd
like,
you sell that for, man?
I bought that for $7,000,
Right,
and I
right.
think it sold at auction when I sold it for I think 80 or 85,000 or something.
Now it's worth crazy money, I bet you.
I'm sure, but
Yeah,
I don't live by
yeah,
what I
yeah.
own or stuff
No,
like that.
I get it.
I really had my own, you know.
But you understand that, like, I went to that Jim Irsay thing, right?
Yes.
And can you imagine the David Gilmour? You know what it sold for? $14.5 million. Okay. There are
Crazy.
people out there with crazy dough,
That's
crazy
right.
dough. Like
Yes.
Mikey's not hurting, but I'm not even probably close to you. But I'm just letting you know there are people out there that like they are just crazy money.
Yeah,
Can you imagine buying a $300 guitar basically
yes.
for $14.5 million? Come on.
No. And by the way, when you mentioned Jim Irsay, when I did my interview with him and he took out George's guitar from
Yeah,
Paperback Writer and that whole zone
yeah.
of songs, Rain and all that, I asked him on camera, and it was the camera was propped up against a couple of books. I said, "Listen, can I play that guitar too?
Well,
Yeah. 'Cause I
sure.
had an SG. I had the same color. I did anything George did." And he goes, "Sure, sure." The moment that I'm playing that guitar, can you imagine that? Growing up and loving that so much and listening on my
Right,
headphones every night. You want to know something? I'll be honest with you. You know what I do these nights? You know what I do? I do the same thing I did when I was 15. I live alone in a very nice house, blah, blah. I just put my headphones on. I sit in my favorite chair and I listen basically to the same music.
right,
It's so enjoyable to me. I'm not really living a different life than I did at 16.
right, right. Well, you're blessed that way. Now, I saw you have a few children, right?
Three
And you
children.
have been married, or you still are married,
Not married now. Was
right?
married to a wonderful woman. We were married 20 years, together 25, but we got divorced about 15 years ago.
Right.
Yes.
Are
And
you a grandpa? Are you a
no, no,
grandpa
no.
yet?
No, 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 no. None of my kids are married yet. I have a
Okay.
31-year-old Julian who is senior vice president of Columbia Records in New York.
Oh, nice.
My son Luke is working as an intern in Washington, D.C. right now for a big House of Representatives guy, and going to Northwestern Law School next year. And my daughter is a senior at University of Miami studying psychology.
Very nice, man.
They're
Very
doing
nice.
good. They're doing good. Yeah. Knock on wood.
Yeah, yeah. So, what do you got planned besides Beatles Stories in the coming year? Like what else projects are you working on? Anything you want to
Well,
share?
there's a few things that I'm contemplating right now. Like the thing I'm directly working on right at this moment is when I first started working at Chapel Music as a songwriter, everybody left one night. There were Rolodexes all over, and I said, you know what? If I'm up here, I gotta look. And the first name I turned to was Eric Carmen. I pick up the phone. I'm 23 years old. I call him. He picks up the phone. We talk for three
Oh,
hours
wait, wait. Who's Eric Carmen?
from the Raspberries.
Oh, okay.
And all by myself and all those hits of in the 80s, big. Long story short, he just says, hey man, if you're ever in Cleveland. I said, I'll be in Cleveland. Isn't that funny? I'll be in Cleveland in 2 days.
You're always going where you get the call.
Hey, you gotta go. If a
Right.
girl says she wants to date you, well then pick a day soon.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know? Anyway, I go out to Cleveland. I take a couple of pictures of Eric with his gold records, and I wrote a lyric and I sent it to him, and he sends it back to me, and I just found the cassette. And he's singing in the studio, so I had to take the vocal and the piano off. I put an orchestra on it, drums, the whole thing, and I'm gonna come out with this thing with Eric. And he
Nice.
died 2 years ago, but it's
Oh,
a
he
big new Eric Carmen ballad.
so you reach out to the estate and you make the arrangements with
All of
them?
it. Yeah, well, I wrote the song with him, you
Oh,
know.
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I've been working on that. I've been in the studio and editing my movie and doing all that stuff. It's always busy here.
Right. You got a good thing going, man.
Thank you, man. Thank
Um,
you.
I wanted to ask you about some specific people.
Sure.
Now, you have this Mitzi and Charlie Brill, right?
Yeah. Yes.
You know, some people that I would never know, but they were there for that important date, which was on Ed Sullivan, February 9th,
That's
right?
right. That's
All
right.
right. They have a story to tell about like John Lennon coming
Yeah.
in, I think, right? Maybe just give them a taste if you can remember that story or what
Oh
something
yeah.
about that and who these people
That's
are.
amazing because they were on that show and they were trying to make it too. And you get on the Ed Sullivan show in 1964. I mean, that's a ticket. And they said that their whole thing bombed and all that. It just wasn't very good. But backstage, they heard this all these accents, and it was mostly John who was closest to them, and they couldn't understand what he was saying. So he says, they make a joke about something. He says, "I think you should give that for. I think that's better for Faringo, Faringo." And they said, "What's a Faringo? Is that a new Yiddish word? What is that? A Faringo?" And they were just naturals. I put the camera on them, and they go into this whole thing. It was just fantastic, and that's what I wanted to do. I just wanted to get people's human, natural emotions about the
Yeah,
Beatles because the
yeah,
Beatles brought out so much. They continue to. They continue to.
right, right. The pressure's on for, Paul and Ringo. In one way, they're never, they're always being bombarded, right?
Yeah,
At the same time, though, now with Paul's new album, you see that he's he's getting prepared mentally
I
for, the sunset.
yeah, I think you're right.
Yeah, yeah. Like, he is a person that every day of his life has been chronically captured, you
Absolutely.
know,
Certainly
moment
since
by moment.
certainly since 1962.
Right.
In terms of fame and even little bits of fame, they played to packed houses in Germany and then in early, Liverpool 60, 61. So it's not like they didn't have roving fans. But then when it kind of got more in 62, absolutely, but Beatlemania was 63 and then America and the world. So yes, you're right. And not only that, but John Lennon died in 1980. So
Well,
Paul,
that's what's crazy. I mean, there's more years have passed than he ever lived.
that's right. That's
You
right.
know, we really only had John for as far as knowing him for a very short period of time.
That's right.
And what they accomplished in such a short period of time. I mean, when I think now, if you went back to when COVID started, the Beatles had gone and come and gone already.
Oh yeah, definitely.
It's like it would have been, it was over already.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And that's the crazy aspect of how much they accomplished.
It's
Uh,
very, very true. But it wasn't just the coming together of these four particular people. It was also where was technology at that time?
and culture and everything.
Yes, it had to hit at a moment where it was moving, but
Yeah.
it was still slow compared. I mean, how many channels did you have growing up? Five, six, seven?
Three. Yeah, three. In
Okay.
New York, we had three real channels plus 11 and nine.
Thank you. I
Yeah.
was 13 every once in a while, but
And
not,
five. Yeah. Yeah.
five, right?
Yeah.
But now everything's kind of a distraction because you go on YouTube, there are five things I want to go deep into.
Yeah. Yeah.
Everything, so it's less.
No. So my daughter, I have three girls. I mean, two
Yeah.
girls and a son, and then I am a grandfather. So my
Hmm.
daughter tells me, my youngest daughter tells me about Noah Cohan.
Okay.
Is that how you say his name?
I don't know.
Okay. You never heard of him, right?
Oh,
Cohen. All
okay.
right. Now, when I tell you this, you're gonna go into shock because you're gonna have to look this guy up.
Sure.
Pick a number of how many downloads this
I
man has.
oh. You mean, and I know it's in the billions.
Yes. Yes.
Right.
15 billion.
Yes, 15 billion. And
15 billion downloads. He has sold out Citi Field, Fenway. Now, I never heard of him.
right.
Okay. So now I'm thinking like I'm really out of touch, man. I'm out of touch.
Oh, I hear you. Listen, I go to the oldie shows. I go to the Happy
Right.
Together shows. On the other hand, I'm going to go see Yes again. John
Oh, I
Anderson.
love Yes. Are you a Yes fan?
Not only was I a Yes fan, but John Anderson, I saw him last year with the Band Geeks, these guys from Queen.
Oh, band geeks are great.
Unbelievable. But John Anderson is singing like he did in the 70s.
Yes, he still does it great. So I'm happy that you mentioned that because when I was first year in college, I graduated high school in 73. Okay, I'm 71. So I'm older than you. But Tales of Topographic Ocean came
Get it.
out.
Get
And
it.
that to me was an unbelievable album.
And
but it
you had
was
Fragile
also
though. You had
what?
Fragile. You had Fragile
Oh,
too,
of
right?
course.
Yeah, yeah.
And then, of course, Close to the Edge
Yes.
with Siberian Control and You and I. These are classic albums. Of course, these are classic albums to smoke some marijuana to, though. Okay? This, not that Mikey does that anymore, which, not that there's anything wrong with it, because today it's legitimate. But,
Yeah,
I just can't deal with it anymore. But when I
yeah.
was younger in the 70s, that was the thing. All
Oh
right?
yeah.
But I from when I tell people I'm into Yes and I'm a Beatle nut job, they know me as a Beatle nut.
Right.
They don't really get it. But
Yeah,
that was the 70s, you
that's
know?
right. That's right. I loved Mott the Hoople and I
Yeah,
liked Karen Carpenter.
yeah, yeah.
You know, I mean, you couldn't admit you liked the Carpenters, but
Right,
I
right.
love, I was a fan and I didn't know it yet, but I love melody. Melody is the number one for me. So when you ask me about songwriting, when I sit down with a guitar or a piano, I do not have a home studio and I refuse to get it. I like writing songs in the old-fashioned way, cross legs with a guitar and an old cassette player. And the whole thing is it's about my mood and it runs through me subconsciously, gets down my arms, through my hands. I don't know what I'm going to play.
So you're still writing songs?
My last album came out in, well, actually, I had a best of album from Sony. Sony put out the best of Seth Swirsky. But I'm not making an album right now. I'm just doing individual songs. That's why I'm working on this Eric Carmen song because I think it's kind of a special story. And he's
Uh-huh.
singing lead.
Right,
I
right.
can't turn that up. I cleaned up the cassette. It's amazing. I mean, it sounds like he's in a room with an orchestra.
Will there be any type of video to go with it when you release
I
that?
certainly hope so, but I'm just now getting the song done. You know,
Right.
like I kind of do, I kind of get my hands in everything that I do because I know what I want to see, you know?
Uh-huh.
So it's one thing at a time. It's been the best way for me forward.
Oh, this is so good, man. I want to ask you, uh, Davy Jones,
Yes.
which he was also on the Ed Sullivan show that night.
Yes.
Tell everybody a little bit about Davy, who's another, it's another sad thing that he's no longer with us. To me, he was such a young, youthful person. Next thing you know, he's not here anymore.
I'm going to throw something at you that you don't know that I think you'll like and your audience will like. After I interviewed Davey about, did you know that you were going to be on the show? Did you know? What did you think when you saw these four guys that were British? He goes, "Oh my God, if they could do that, I could do that." Because he was performing his, Broadway thing and whatever.
Right.
And wouldn't you know that an eyelash later, he's all over the charts with one of the greatest voices of the 60s.
Right.
Turns out that we hit it off, and I just mentioned to him that a few weeks later I'd be having my 50th birthday party. Would he come over? And I didn't think anything of it. All of a sudden, he shows up. There's 200 people at this party. It was the biggest party I ever had, right? And my wife, my kids, the whole nine yards. I make it into my back room there with the guitars hanging on the wall. Cut to, long story short, Davey walks in and I start playing I Want to Be Free and he starts singing. And Henry Diltz, their original photographer, he's taking movies of it. The whole crowd comes into the room. If you go to YouTube and type in Davy Jones Swirsky,
Yeah.
you'll see part one, part two, part three of a sing-along of Beatles, Monkees, Herman's Hermits. We covered the 60s as a sing-along, everybody in the room, and it's I'm playing and Davey singing.
Say that again then to everybody. How do they get to see that?
On YouTube, if you type in Davy Jones and then my name, Seth Swirsky, or just
Yeah.
Swirsky, there'll be part one, part two, and part three, and you can just dive
Right.
into any one. I mean, it's
Okay.
hilarious.
I was just at Abbey Road on the river, Abbey on the road on the river in Kentucky. All
Yes,
right. And Mickey Dolenz, actually another guy, Peter Noon,
yes,
who's an unbelievable talented musician
yes,
and entertainer. He did a
yes.
real act. Okay.
Yeah.
He was unbelievable. And I know you interviewed him in your movie, everybody in the
No, but
movie, Beatles
Peter
Stories.
also recorded one of my songs as well.
He did. Oh, yeah. Tell us about that.
Yeah, it was kind of amazing because I had interviewed him a few years before, and then out of the clear blue, it's like I want to do one of your songs from the Red Button. That's my retro pop band. I have my own solo records, but I do that as like a not to sound like I want this song to sound like that. I'm not trying to copy, but it's what I do naturally.
Right.
And Peter called up. He loved one of the songs, and I'm thinking to myself when he was down in the studio, Peter Noon is in the studio, and I'm producing him. And I flashed right back to June of 1968 when Bobby Kennedy was shot. And living in New York, we got the news like it was like midnight or later than midnight. Woke up to it. I was very upset. And it has nothing to do with politics. It was just that he was a person in the current thing and whatever,
Right.
68. But it just so happened that the Herman's Greatest Hits was out and I owned it. So hearing songs like I'm Into Something Good or, all those songs from that incredible record, it just reminds me, it takes me right back to June of 68. And so to have Peter right there, it was a strong memory, is what I'm trying to say. What I'm
Nice.
saying? I told him that story. He goes, it was a scary time. He goes, we were all just trying to do pop songs and make the world, sing. But it
Yeah.
was just, anyway, I digress.
No, no, I like it. Uh, and I'm trying to get you to tell these stories, your own
Yeah.
little things. I love it. Uh,
All right.
all I was saying is, did you ever? I didn't forget. Mickey Dolenz wasn't in any of Beatles stories, right?
He's in the new one.
Oh, okay.
And
He has
Peter's
some
in the new
great
one too.
stories.
Peter's
He
in the
had,
new one too.
yeah, he has a great story where um, he, first of all, nothing to do with the Beatles. He went to Monterey Pop
Of
and
course.
he
Yeah.
sees Jimi Hendrix and they're looking for an opening act.
Yeah, that's
And
right.
he convinces them to add him to his tour. Now, you don't know, but my followers know that Mikey went to the Forest Hills concert to see the
Oh,
Monkees,
that
and
was
I
the
saw
thing.
Hendrix open for them.
Is that you were at that concert?
Yeah,
That was
I have
a
my
unique
ticket,
one.
my program, I got everything.
Wow.
Okay. Not as valuable as the Buckner Ball, though.
I'll
Okay.
tell you though, that's pretty cool. That's
Yeah.
that
But
Forest Hills concert.
my
Yeah.
father was telling me because I wasn't there for Jimi Hendrix. I
Yeah.
didn't even know who he was. A year later, I knew. But
Yeah.
that year is 67,
Yes.
and everybody's screaming, Davy, 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 while Jimi Hendrix is playing. My father, who took me to see the Beatles the year earlier, he took me to see the Monkees because he knew I wanted to go. And he's telling me, this guy's pretty good. He's really good. And I wasn't interested.
Yeah.
I was waiting to see the Monkees.
Of course. Of course. That's a great story. That's
Yeah,
fantastic.
yeah. But he mentioned how he went to the Sergeant Pepper sessions, met with Paul, and no, but then John sees him. I'm sure he told you this.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And
Don't give it
I
away.
won't say it. I'm not going to say it. Okay. All
I
right.
present it in a very unique way. I mean, how many stories could he have? So I
Oh,
tried to find
crazy,
a
man.
different
Yeah,
angle on it.
that story, he told that story, though, at this fest just a
Yes.
month ago, 3 weeks ago. So,
Yes.
yeah, you guys got to see Beatles Stories too. Is that what it's going to be called?
Yes. Volume two. Beatles
Volume
story.
two.
Yeah.
Beatles Stories, Volume two. Wherever it may show up,
Yes.
you will not be disappointed. Okay? I don't know what it is, but if it's anything like one, it's historical and fun. Yeah.
Thank
Yeah.
you so much. Thank you.
Anything else you want to tell everybody? Remember, everybody here that's watching this, they're either going to be fanatics of Seth or they love the Beatles. They're not necessarily fanatics of Mikey, okay? But if they start searching your name, especially when you start promoting this, Mikey's going to reap the benefits a little,
I
okay?
hope so.
Yeah, yeah. But I'm doing this really just out of fun. I wanted to reach out to you. I think you have so much to share with everybody. And I look at it as an honor to have you be participating on this show. All
Oh,
right.
very, very kind, and it's my honor. Thank you so much for wanting me and this wonderful interview. I really do appreciate it.
If people want to get in touch with you, like, and tell you how much they love you, or maybe they want to introduce you to somebody else or whatever, how do they reach you?
It's real simple. My website is realseth.com, REALSETH. And then, it gives you a place where you can just, write to me from there, or anything. But it gives you a whole smattering of the things I've done, whether it's painting, physical art, movies, books, some of the Beatles clips that you've been mentioning. So it gives you a whole thing. But Real Seth is where to reach me, realseth.com.
Yeah, I would recommend everybody reach out to him, bombard him. Okay. Tell him what you liked. Okay, give him all your ideas. If Mikey can find this guy and reach him, and he responded to me very quickly, you guys could do that too. So, listen, Seth, I'm going to stop the recording. I appreciate everything. Everybody, I hope you enjoyed this special episode of Mikey Arugula Adventures. Okay, I'm signing off. Hold on one second.
Sure.